remember it really well. The conversation that took me in that journey. It was 2012. I was in Vegas. I was leaving. A taxi driver was taking me to the airport. On my way to the airport, he asked me where I was from. And I said I was from Haiti. Then we started having a whole conversation about the Haitian Revolution. And as our conversation is going, he asked me, do I drink the pumpkin soup? This is something I did not expect somebody all the way in Vegas to ask me. And the soup he was talking about was soup joumou. From there,
to celebrate, we are at 3, 2, 1.
January 1st, the beginning of a new year, a call for celebration, and the world celebrates.
Whether you're Haitian, Jamaican, American, Colombian, Cuban, people have different ways of celebrating New Year's. People wants to go out, go to the clubs, drink all night, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year's. No, we don't say 10, 9, 8, we don't count down and say Happy New Year's.
For Haitians, the celebration is a little bit more special because it is also their Independence Day. Haitians celebrate their independence with a soup known as joumou.
I love soup. I love soup. I don't eat or drink soup only January 1st. All the time I take my soup because I love soup.
Soup joumou is so good. I don't know how to explain it. So good.
In every Haitian community, not only inside Haiti, abroad, they have to eat, to drink soup.
When you have it, you know you're having a part of the Haitian culture and part of the Haitian history.
Miami, Florida, is home to one of the largest Haitian populations in the diaspora and has been growing since the late 70s. Many of their traditions have been imported with them.
I moved to Miami when I was 14, and church was one of the places I was reintroduced to the tradition of the soup again.
Both my parents are from Haiti originally, and they're both still married. When you have those traditional parents who are so gung-ho of how they were living back in Haiti, they bring that tradition into Miami. Every year we just come together as a unit and we just celebrate New Year's Eve together. And we would just sit there and eat together, have a good time, have conversations, and just laugh and have a good time until the wee hours in the morning.
The soup always had a family and communal aspect to it. When you're an immigrant, you move to the States, quite often you leave your family behind. And the soup at the church give you that sense of community and give you that sense of family back.
Many wonder how the soup joumou became a staple of Haiti's Independence Day celebration.
To understand soup joumou is to understand the Haitian Revolution. It comes hand in hand. They're intertwined. At the end of the day, we are who we are because of soup joumou, and it brought us together. If the revolution never happened, I don't know where my ancestors would be. I don't even know what my culture would be right now.
Lots of people confuse revolution and some other words, some other concept like revolt, rebellion. Revolution is a complete, total change. It's a change of the whole system in a country. very often, revolutions start by a rebellion. So when you change the whole system, the system, colonial system, you can talk about revolution.
At the end of the 18th century, 3 revolutions would reshape human society and challenge everything that happened before that time. First, the American Revolution, the French Revolution, then the Haitian Revolution.
Each of these other revolutions speak of the right of man in the context of the white man. The only movement of human beings toward radical change, radical transformations that occurred prior to the 20th century to address now the liberation of the human is the Haitian Revolution. The Haitian Revolution doesn't speak about the liberation of the black or the white. The Haitian Revolution speaks about the liberation of the human.
Did set a precedent for the rights of people to be able to live in freedom and liberty.
We restore, when I say we, I'm talking about Haitians, we restore the human conditions.
When I'm drinking the soup, that's always been the question for me. Why is the soup so connected to the revolution? I wanted to find out as much as I can about the soup joumou. So I decided to go back to Haiti, and I landed in Port-au-Prince. When you watch the news about Haiti, it's always the same stories. It's always about the earthquake. It's always about poverty. It's always about the coup d'etat. And the stories always fail to understand Haitian as a people. And I feel it's a form of dehumanization.
I think everybody in Haitian studies agrees that Haiti is misrepresented by the media, by shallow authors, by comic books, by CDs and music products, by people who visit and who leave and portray it in a particular light. So people who are not fluent in Creole, people who don't speak French, people who don't attempt to make a deep engagement with the language and the culture, then it's very easy for them to misrepresent really any phenomenon that's not explored and studied in depth is sort of subject to this shallow and sort of stereotypical representation. It's a country like any other. So you'll see churches and buildings and voodoo temples and markets and lottery vending and people selling things, on the side of the street and fruit stands and so you will see students in their uniforms everywhere you go in Haiti, from the wealthiest neighborhoods to the most impoverished neighborhoods. Everybody is focused on education. Really, I would say a tapestry of diverse human activity.
While I was in Port-au-Prince, I met with a chef. His name is David Destinob. He's one of the most respected chefs in Haiti right now.
I first met him in Miami because he is a chef and one of the founders of the Haitian Culinary Alliance here in Miami. And so I started working with him in that organization because I'm the legal counsel for them. And he moved back to Haiti to be a chef for the Prime Minister.
He wants to elevate Haitian food to an international level. And that's what I want for Haitian food, and that's what I feel like David is pushing for.
I think Haiti
is one of those places that's very misunderstood by outsiders, even by Haitian natives. Yes, we have some rough time, and we have some rough and tumble, earthquake, tremblement de terre, hurricane, and misfortunes of our own doings. But they're just part of nature, man. But I think the place have a lot to offer. Some people like that picture because that's what they see black countries and countries of African descent. So people like, that's what they see it. Oh, Haiti's poor and things like that. Maybe some people are doing it because that's just the way they get paid. The positive of Haiti outshine all of the stuff that's shown in the media. They could show that stuff 24 hours.
I've been to Haiti one time. Unfortunately, it was for my grandmother's passing. When I went to Haiti, it was after the earthquake. We went to Cavaillon, we went to Port-au-Prince, we went to Change. And even though there were different parts of Haiti and you see different people living, how different that they are. They lived in the mountains, they lived in the cities, but it was all the same. They were very proud of who they are. You can see that they love Haiti. They love their culture and they wouldn't change themselves about it.
In many ways, that pride that we have is associated with the history of the revolution.
So the Haitian Revolution began in 1791, and then you have battles upon battles and different layers of battles until 1804. So sometimes when people present it, it seems like, oh, it just happened, in a quick second. But that's more than a decade of battles with different powers. And I think sometimes we forget how long this revolution was.
Most plantation owners and colonialists were threatened by what was going on in Haiti.
Et Haïti représentait un défi pour le monde. C'est comme si Haïti annonçait un nouvel ordre. Parce que qu'il fallait aussi étouffer cette indépendance pour montrer que ce n'est pas la voie que les esclaves pouvaient suivre à travers dans les colonies.
The United States started to put tougher laws in place to control their slave population. Thomas Jefferson refused to recognize Haiti as a new republic. In 1805, he enacted an arms and trade embargo against Haiti. This embargo lasted almost 60 years until Abraham Lincoln recognized Haiti.
L'économie américaine fondée sur le coton prenait son essor. Et l'économie cotonnière américaine profitait largement de l'esclavage. C'est l'esclavage qui permettait de produire du coton. C'est l'esclavage, ce sont les esclaves qui produisaient, travaillaient dans les champs. Donc il ne fallait pas, je dirais, laisser ce nouveau modèle de société et mettre en question l'économie américaine.
In order to be recognized by France, Haiti was asked to pay 150 million francs, valued at $21 billion today, as reparations to the expelled French planters.
Pendant longtemps, Haïti a utilisé toutes ses ressources pour payer la dette. Donc, jusqu'à ce jour-là, nous ne sommes pas encore sortis, par exemple, du schéma de la dette.
The American embargo, lack of trade, and the debt to France slowly took its toll on the new nation. However, the revolution did endure.
Revolutions have a way of spilling over into the consciousness of oppressed peoples. So the Haitian Revolution was able to serve as that kind of inspiration for other enslaved people. And that was something that as Black people, as people of African descent, we all had bonding us together.
The whites spent millions trying to keep the Blacks from knowing of Haiti being independent right next door. Any men of any race, creed, or color running away from slavery, setting foot on this land becomes free. It is clear that with all the money they spent, they failed because the information went out.
They were taking up bits of it and then passing it to one another. And how would the messages conveyed from plantation to plantation?
That created a lot of inspiration for the other islands. That people started figuring out now that Haiti might be the place to go. There's a story of the Deep Nine that is actually documented So some slaves had taken over a boat and commandeered it to Haiti. And the owners of the boat decided that they were going to try to get their boat and slaves back. So they actually wrote to the president of Haiti, petitioning the president of Haiti to return both the boat and the slaves. And the president said, you know, we'd be more than happy to give you your boat back, but you're definitely not getting the people back.
The story of Dip 9 to me come to represent exactly what Haiti became after the revolution. And you can see it in Napoleon's words. He said, the prospect of a Black Republic is equally disturbing to the Spanish, the English, and the Americans. And I think the Spanish had one of the biggest blows because of Simón Bolívar.
During his struggle against the Spanish Empire, he fled to Haiti, where the Haitian government provided him with military support, supplies, and finances. In return, he promised to abolish slavery everywhere he would conquer. In 1816, Bolívar landed in Venezuela with Haitian soldiers. They would lead a successful campaign that would eventually result in the independence of Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia from the Spanish Empire.
It's true that I landed in Port-au-Prince, but my father told me that the story of the soup is not in Port-au-Prince. The story of the soup is in Gonaïves. Gonaïves is a city that's located north of Port-au-Prince. It is where they read the Declaration of Independence. And this is where I will find the story of the soup.
This is Gonaïves. It is one of the oldest cities in the Americas. It was first settled by the Taínos in the early 14th century. They called the city Gonaibo. Today, it is known as the City of Independence.
When I got to Gonaïves, it was 2 days before New Year's. I did not know how culturally and how historically important that city was.
Well, it would take a long time to address Gonaïves in depth, and you would of course need a number of experts to address it. It is a very important Vodou city. It is one of the only cities and departments based on statistics and fieldwork done by the Bureau of Statistics in Haiti, where people will publicly claim to practice Vodou. But it is a very small minority, only about 7 to 10% of the inhabitants of La Tibonite.
It was here in this public square over 200 years ago that a Haitian general named Jean-Jacques Dessalines declared Haiti's independence from France.
The tradition of the soup did not start with Dessalines. The tradition of the soup started with his wife, Marie-Claire Reuze. I did not know much about Marie-Claire Reuze, and I come to understand how strong of a woman she was and the role she played in the revolution.
What she taught us is that, as we come to understand it, it is a tradition to make us practice sharing. That's the number one tradition. And if we look at the years of the revolution, we see that sharing was the biggest quality anyone could have. On January 1st, we must make the soup for as much as we can. Ideally, you make the soup and you send a bowl to 1, 2, 3, 4 neighbors. You send some soup to somebody that you know is living alone, an old lady living alone, somebody that you think may not have food that day. Even though I may have soup here and I make soup, but my neighbors, when they make their soup, they send a bowl for me, and I send a bowl for them. We observed that Clara was, when she was alive, she organized for drums, barrel full of soup prepared and distributed at every crossroad. She would do this from the moment the light of the sun comes up until the light of the sun goes out, from January 1st to January 7th.
On the main public square, they call Place d'Armes, I connected with a girl named Karen Cadet.
Qu'a dit que place là en chantier parce que 1er janvier a pas approché, c'est fête de l'indépendance. Donc le président de la République va venir faire son discours. Donc on est en train d'établir un stand sur la place pour l'accueillir. Derrière moi, il y a une image des généraux de l'indépendance, des gens qui te combattent pour nous être libres dans le pays actuellement.
Karen was really welcoming, and she's one of the most enthusiastic person I've met. She introduced me to her mother, and the next day, we went to the market together so they can buy ingredients to prepare the soup for the new year. It was late in the evening, the market was still vibrant. The energy that was there.
On grandit Gonaïve, d'ailleurs, moi, fête Gonaïve même. Moi, fête dans la zone où Jean-Jacques Dessalines. Et plus spécialement dans la zone qui est les Savanes Chris. Et là, je grandis, là, je grandis, fait tout à fait net. Gonaïve, bon, pour de l'MT fait là, bon. Il n'y a pas de gens de par rapport à gens parents, nous, te qu'on dit nous de. Et moi, je viens à vivre tout. J'ai papa, moi, qu'on lève le matin, il dit, chaque monde. 2 gouttes, 5 gouttes, et puis son paquet de bagalité pour nous. On paquet à faire. Nous allons à l'école à 5 gouttes, mais nous laissons nous riches. Nous allons à l'école à 5 gouttes. Mais mettre qu'on y a, quand il y a 5 gouttes là, il faut acheter un bouquet de l'eau.
Comment c'est rangé pour être?
Pour une ville historique, Gonaïve manqué par rapport à l'autre zone. Parce que là, je regarde, surtout là, je m'attendais de parler de Jacmel, de Caille, de Cap, surtout, grand pile monument historique, grand pile touriste tout le temps qui viennent. Pour Gonaïve qui vraiment cité indépendance parce que là, je suppose que c'était qu'il y a plus de travail qui fait par rapport à nous que le gain en ville historique là.
À cause de passer ville là, le fait que t'es toujours à la tête des révolutions et tout, grand pile monde qui toujours peur vin Gonaïve parce que dit que c'est gain chimère, c'est là. Donc on dit nous t'ai fait une mauvaise réputation de ville là. Mais au fil des temps, on a dit ces dernières années, en pile monde a vinn Gonaïve et en pile monde rendu compte que ça yo t'ai pensé de Gonaïve là, c'est pas ça.
I left Haiti when I was 14. When I went to the market, it was something I haven't experienced since then. And I was so happy I was experiencing that again.
Nous mettons macaroni vermicelle là-dedans. Parce que jour ça c'est ça seulement tout le monde manger. Les soupe là, il faut bien pile bagarre là-dedans pour que mettez banane. Oui, il y a banane, tâcher banane, gagnam. Si on ça ali bien bon. Ouais, c'est ça. Regarde ça madame non fait. Oh les matinique. Ouais, les goûts c'est les fait soupe là puis goût tout.
One thing I did see, the market was dominated by women. And all the conversation they were having were around the soup. I come to understand how much the women are the bearers of that tradition.
When anyone comes into the household, yeah, the father's there, but the women is what holds the household down.
Culture plays a big role in how, in family dynamics. Part of our culture is where the women do a lot of the work. And the women they have basically the last say in a lot of things.
They are strong, opinionated, and at the end of the day, if something that needs to get done, it's going to be their way, regardless.
Femmes haïtiennes sont un gros morceau dans le développement pays. Malheureusement, il y aurait dit en pile. Comme on dit, le marché c'est efficace. Les gros chats, ils ont fait toute bagaille. Ils sont ici, ils ont fou, ils ont moulé en même temps. Fille, il aurait dit en pile dans le pays, nous. Mais sans la femme, pas de progrès. Parce que la femme, capable de dire, c'est meilleure économie si elle est là. Joue ta fait expérience, maman pata là, un jour là, ouais, qui j'en là. Par exemple, si il y a $20, il peut manger tout pour jouer ça. Il a serré un petit bagage demain matin quand même. Alors pour certaines femmes, je ne connais pas, mais la majorité des femmes. Il a serré un petit bagage demain parce que demain matin, les 4 paires de yeux, 8 paires de yeux, il a regardé lui, il a regardé maman, il y a plus de maman. Il y a plus de qui robe maman, dit maman grand goût. Donc il faut maman callonger un bagage, il faut le guetter lever matin, même en soupe pour le guetter faire.
We hear about Kathleen Flaw, who designed and sewed the flag, but the fighters, the women fighters like Sanit Belair, who actually fought alongside these generals like Celebratory that we've heard about. But I would love to see unearth more of the stories of the women who fought in the revolution, so that we don't only have women in these roles as preparers of the soup, but also as inspirations for the reason that we are celebrating the revolution and that we're having the soup in the first place. There's still these silences, I think these details as a novelist that I wish I knew. How people live their lives. I would love to see us go to the place where we're unearthing new details, new rituals, because the soup is a kind of a detail that could have easily been overlooked had it not been taken up and passed on through the generations.
The joumou, known as pumpkin, is a native gourd to the Americas. Of course, it was discovered by Columbus, as were the Americas, or not, depending on which history book you're looking at. But Columbus brought it back. And what they realized on the way back to Europe is that this was a very long-lasting vegetable. They like to call joumou a winter squash because it can last, you can have a gourd and it lasts throughout the winter and you can continue eating it. It grows above ground. It's a vine. It's a huge vine. So think of a grapevine, but that grows low. And it has huge, beautiful leaves. You always know that it's perfectly ripe when you cut it. And it starts to, when the fruit is weeping, it's telling you that the sugars have developed to maturity in the fruit and that it is ready to go. You can use all the parts. So you use the flesh to make the soup, or you can roast it as a vegetable. And the seeds, you can toast the seeds, and you can have them as a snack, or you can top your soup with it.
First cultivated in the Andes of South America, it was one of the things introduced to Christopher Columbus when he anchored on the island. The Taínos were the indigenous people of the island. They called it by 3 different names: Quisquia, Boyo, and Haiti, all meaning mountainous land. Columbus chose to call the island La Isla Española, meaning the Spanish island. Soon the natives were imposed to slave labor, mistreatment, which alongside diseases introduced by the Europeans, caused a severe decline of the Taíno population. To replace the Taínos, the Spaniards began enslaving and importing Africans to the island. The first group started arriving on the island by 1501.
Slavery is the defining, is a constitutive, a founding element of the Americas. Slavery is what glues the America north, south, central, east, west. There is no part of the Americas that was not influenced by slavery. From the United States all the way to Brazil, all the way to Mexico, all the way to Peru, Ecuador.
The Spanish population flourished in the eastern region, while the western region became a safe haven for French buccaneers and pirates. The French buccaneers started turning their pirated wealth into production of indigo, coffee, and sugarcane plantations. This would eventually give birth to the French colony of Saint-Domingue. The production of sugar was the most profitable of them all. As the demand for sugar grew, so did the need for more slaves. Then came the infamous Atlantic triangular slave trade. Sugar, coffee, and raw materials like cotton and indigo were shipped to Europe or North America to be turned into finished goods. On the west coast of Africa, slaves were traded for guns, rum, and fabric. They were then brought to the Americas and traded again for sugar, coffee, or raw materials. And the circle continues.
The estimated 20 million people or so were imported in the Americas into slavery. 20 million people today is considered a pretty big country. 20 million people back then was an extremely, extremely large number. So when you look at those 20 million people that were transported into slavery in the Americas, that was the destruction of a lot of kingdom, a lot of empires, and a lot of social structure that were in West Africa at that time.
The history of Black people did not just start in the transatlantic slave. We are a people that have a history that is rich and enormous. You look at the Mali Empire, or the Ghana Empire, or the Songhai Empire. Mali is a perfect example. You look at the educational institutions that existed there and the kinds of ideas that came out about math and science and philosophy and astronomy and language and all those things. When slavery came, it took a bunch of those people to the West, degraded them, completely took their lives away, and in many ways I think humanity was the worse for it. But the Haitian Revolution stopped that.
They define the statue of the slave, what the slave has to do, what the slave could not do, and if they violate the Black Code, the kind of sanction they use against those slaves. Like, for example, if you leave the plantation, when they catch you, they could cut your ears and sometimes your leg. Very often you found some slave in Haiti with a kind of a turban around their head to hide the place of the ears.
All the institutions that most human beings had, marriages, none of that stuff worked the same way during the period of slavery.
The need for slaves was so high that 40,000 Africans were imported to the island each year. This was more than the entire white population.
The slave used to work 18 out of 24. So they used to start working at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I remember a French writer, he said, in 1787, 1788, he spent some time in Saint-Domingue, and he said the scream of the slave in the morning awake people. It's not the, you used to say in Haiti, when the rooster, the scream of the rooster. No, the rooster in Saint-Domingue was at 4 o'clock in the morning was the slave. So you cannot sometimes sleep after 4 o'clock, because when the masters, the commanders, conduct the slave to the plantation, they whip them, they beat them, and the scream of the slave wake people in Saint-Domingue at the eve of the revolution.
At any one time during the height of the colony's economic success, the majority of the slave population was African-born. The harsh conditions made it difficult for the population to grow naturally. It was cheaper for a plantation owner to buy a new slave than to feed one. The average lifespan of a slave was 7 years.
When I was a kid, my mom used to cook for everybody. Everybody came to my mom's house to eat. Whether or not you was the chief of the block, the rich guy, the poor guy, everybody came. Because food was the center lobe. That's why everybody used to eat. That's what I'm trying to do with my food. And I cook for an array of different people.
He arranged for us all to be able to go up to the mountains on this one-night trip because we only had a limited amount of time. I mean, going up the mountain, I guess it's kind of hard to describe how beautiful and amazing the scenery is in words. It was just beautiful. You know, the higher up in the mountain, you feel the temperature change. So where you start off in Port-au-Prince with the windows shut and the AC on, you end up with the windows down and the cool mountain air coming in, and it just feels like crisp. And you know, the higher up you go, you get the fog across the land and you can't see the land anymore. And
Haiti is considered the most mountainous region in the Caribbean. And when you look at the mountains in Haiti, mountains have always been symbolic to the Maroons.
To escape slavery, they often fled to the mountains where they formed communities. The term Maroon, which means runaway or fugitive, is a derivative of the Spanish word cimarron.
The Maroons in Haiti play a very important role in our revolution because a lot of important leaders in the Haitian Revolution were Maroon first. We find a lot of Maroons not only in the Haitian Revolution, where they had slavery, we found a lot of Maroons there.
One of the things that I think the Maroons represent is the will to be independent at whatever cost. Clearly, the mountains represent freedom to the Maroons because that was one place everywhere in the Caribbean, and of course Haiti is notorious for having beautiful mountain. That's what the word means, right? Island of mountains. Very knowledgeable about herbology, and they know a lot about the environments in the Caribbean. You sometimes wonder how they came into this knowledge, but I mean, obviously as people of African descent, it's pretty clear that a lot of that is coming from Africa now.
Maroons would consistently raid plantations to rescue their family members and often distribute poison to kill the plantation owners. One of the most famous Maroons was Macandal. His name brought fear to the plantation owners.
Is almost a mythological character. I'm not saying he didn't exist in history. We couldn't have had a revolution without Macandal.
If you think of characters like Macandal, and there's two sides to the coin of how herbology was used.
He was famous for distributing poison to slaves, which they used to kill their plantation owners. After 6 years of evading capture and successfully raiding numerous plantations, he was captured by the French.
In the end, he did meet a very dastardly death.
In our folklore, it is said they sentenced him to death. And while they were burning him alive, he turned into a bird and flew away.
The power of Macandal's story is that it was able to be transformed into a very inspirational myth. I felt when I heard Macandal's story, I feel if I was an enslaved person at that time, it would make me braver. You need historical and you need inspiration in a long battle like this revolution. You need people, stories to keep you going. Just as in the southern United States, enslaved people needed to know that Harriet Tubman was out there And I think the Makandal story is a story that extended even, that was told beyond, that Makandal was able to escape even beyond his life. From all revolutionaries, from Makandal to Mandela, who was, even when he was in prison, you can imprison my body, you can destroy my body, but my spirit is free. And I think that was for me, that's always been for me, the lesson of Makandal's story is that they can do whatever they want to us, to our bodies, but their freedom lies ahead because our spirits are free.
Cooking and food and sitting around in a community enjoying food is what life is really all about. I think that's how you really learn different people's cultures, is through the food.
Irie is from Jamaica, so we get the you know soup joumou, man.
Yes.
You drink the soup joumou.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Actually, I had it the first time here.
First time you came here?
Yes, I had it the first time, even though I knew about it before.
Right.
But it's the first time, and it's awesome. The attitudes of the individuals and the country are in that cuisine, because that whole love thing, everything about what you're making is about love. So if you're a spicy culture, you will have a lot of foods that represent spiciness. If you're sweet, all that stuff. It's all in the food.
Mais gen pou m'de gen tan rache m laver et puis m'gen persil et puis piment tout parce que faut bien chaud, on va le piler tout ensemble là et puis pour capable mariner viande. OK. C'est là du feu. On va quitter tout couvrir demain si Dieu veut, le lever bonheur, on va pas le caler, joumou, nettoyer feuilles et puis tout fait souple. OK.
À cause de l'histoire pays nous soupe là li vinn ton li son bail qui symbolique. Ça veut dire li gon on nom, li gon force.
Symbols are images that live in our souls. What makes a symbol, what we can all agree on, is the meaning that the people dealing with it bring.
I don't think I realized the significance of that particular soup until that night, that trip, because that's when David started talking about it to everyone that was there, because there were about 25 of us that went on that trip, and I would say half of the people were not Haitian. So David started telling everyone the history of the soup and why they make the soup and why he was making it for us that night.
Those who came, the chefs who wanted to come up and do a little campfire, and he was very helpful. Alex, merci un peu, man.
It's a pleasure to have you guys all here and to be part of this.
One of the few ways to connect with the island, I was told, is through the palmis, the palm oil, the palm oil to burn the fire, the conch shell to call the negmaon, and the sacrifices of a black boar, domestic boar, and to bring the spirit. Those are all the things that are ancestral. People use to connect with the land. And you look throughout Haitian history, you find only one dish. There's no dirapois, there's no chicken stew, there's no Creole shrimp. You find one thing that they talk about is pumpkin soup.
When Karen and her family was preparing the soup, back on the public square, a small crowd was gathering. You can tell the people were getting ready for something they were proud of, and they were all smiling, happy, and so much energy was happening in the city.
When you visit Gonaïves, for example, for festivity in late October, early November, or for, any important Vodou celebration that's taking place in the city on any important calendar day, then you will find many people publicly celebrating voodoo in different ways, right? So you have Bon Rara, which has an important voodoo component. Those are parading associations of friends, sing songs and make music.
Voodoo has always played a huge part in our culture. It's not always understood and it's always been stigmatized. But the fact is, the revolution was sparked by a voodoo ceremony.
Les esclaves avaient pu trouver une certaine cohésion et un certain point de ralliement à travers le vaudou, à travers les cérémonies religieuses. Donc on était arrivé à un point où il fallait quand même passer à une autre étape de l'histoire de la société de Saint-Domingue.
All those leaders are very religious people. They believe in vaudou.
En fait, le christianisme en sorte, nous catholiques, nous protestants, mais le vaudou, c'est
On August 14th, 1791, a Maroon leader, a voodoo priest named Dutty Bookman, a priestess called Cecile Fatiman, held a voodoo ceremony in Bois Caiman, a wooden area in the outskirts of Cape Haitian. The first written account of the ceremony by French historian Antoine Delma describes a pig being sacrificed, after which they drank its blood. This account is heavily disputed and controversial.
So historians living a generation or two generations after Bois Caiman were the first ones to record that event. So from a historical point of view, 30, 40 years of distance between a historical event and the recording of the event is problematic for an accurate factual understanding. Right? Haitian culture has invested Bois Caiman with great meaning, and the memory of the War of Independence in many ways starts at that ceremony of 1791. There's no question that many Vaudouists fought against the Roman Catholic French colonial government.
This is considered by most historians as the catalyst that would drive the revolution. In no way, shape, or form was France ready to let the colony go. By the late 18th century, the colony was producing over a third of the world's sugar and 2/3 of the world's coffee. It became the most profitable colony in the world, with the largest concentration of wealth in the Americas, and produced over a third of the French Empire's revenue.
In that period, one of the richest real estate properties in the world, if you want to look at it that way. You know, it produced a lot for France. It enriched France. I mean, they benefited a lot from Haiti.
However, the rebellion halted after Dutty Bookman was captured. The French then publicly displayed Bookman's decapitated head to generate fear among the rebels. During the 1791 Slaves Revolt, a new leader emerged, and his leadership, military genius, and political intellect would help mobilize the Haitian Revolution. His name was François Dominique Toussaint Louverture.
Everybody will congregate into one household and you'll eat as a family. I would not go anywhere on January 1st. I would be at either my aunt's house or our house. There is one person who is designated to cook soup joumou. Oh, my aunt, she is the designated soup joumou cooker. I know the ingredients because I see my mom do it, I see my aunts do it, but I physically haven't done it yet. And I don't know if I want to do it anytime soon because I don't want to mess it up and I'll be the one that says, oh, I messed up soup joumou.
Gan pi moun ki dehors, famille qui à l'étranger, qui dehors cap rentrer jour ça. Toute famille réunie, les a bay causer, tout le monde a parlé ensemble, li belle. Tout le monde a bay point de vue yo. Même si moun n'a pas ta là, jour ça, li fait effort pour venir boire soupe là en famille.
And reflect on the new year, reflect on our history, reflect on our origin. But it also represents, this new beginning. And I'm so happy every year that this reflection comes at the very beginning of the year, on the first day of the year, when we're also reflecting about other things, like what our year will be like, resolutions that we're making, no matter where you are in the world, if you're of Haitian origin, whether you're having the soup or not, you're thinking about it, you might be thinking about it, you're pausing to think about the country, about the past.
Okay.
Toussaint is definitely the guy I think of when I'm drinking the soup. There's a quote from a publication from the London Gazette in 1798 that came close to describe Toussaint the way I see him. It says, Toussaint is a Negro, and in the jargon of war, has been called a brigand. But by all accounts, he's a Negro born to vindicate the claim of this species and to show the character of man is independent of color.
When Toussaint Louverture is involved, the rebellion progressively transformed in a revolution because Toussaint Louverture wanted to change the whole colonial system.
It took 4 years of Toussaint's struggle to abolish slavery on the island. It was on the 29th of August, 1793. The events in Saint-Domingue pushed French to completely abolish slavery in all of its territories on the 4th of February, 1794. For 7 years, slavery was abolished in the colony. Then Napoleon took power in France with desire to reestablish slavery. To counteract Napoleon, in 1801, Toussaint proposed a new constitution to govern Haiti.
When Toussaint Louverture proclaimed a constitution in 1801, it means, in fact, Toussaint Louverture is the governor of the colony and did not recognize the authority of France in the colony. When Napoleon Bonaparte received the Constitution of 1801, Napoleon Bonaparte said France cannot accept that. That it was the words of Napoleon Bonaparte.
Napoleon assembled the largest military expedition at the time and sent it to Saint-Domingue to restore France's authority and reestablish slavery.
When Napoleon assembled the biggest army at the time to take Toussaint out, this is what he said. My decision to destroy the authority of the blacks in Saint-Domingue is not so much based on the consideration of commerce and money, as in the need to block forever the march of the blacks in the world.
To finance this expedition, Napoleon sold his Louisiana territories to the United States. Overnight, the United States doubled in territories. All that in hope of capturing Toussaint and put an end to the revolution. Toussaint was captured by the French in 1802. The French were hoping that capturing him would put an end to the revolution.
And I think Napoleon fell short to understand when people are looking for freedom and people are searching for freedom, it is a basic human need.
Toussaint's first lieutenant, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, would lead Toussaint's army. Dessalines was a general, a true career soldier. He was determined not to go back. On November 18th, 1803, Dessalines and his forces defeated the French, and he became known as the liberator of Haiti.
November 18, 1803, the last major battle was won by us. Now, on the 19th, a treaty is signed with the French where they admit they have lost. On November 29, Dessalines goes to Fort Liberté and is from there. The town was then named Fort Dauphin by the French in the colony. Dessalines named the town now Fort Liberté. And from that town makes the first independent declaration where he announces to us, we are now an independent country. And says that the universal declaration will be made in Gonaïves on January 1st, 1804. So, all throughout December, everybody is trying to get to Gonaïves so they can be a witness to this moment, this fabulous historical universal moment.
January 1st, 1804 was, I would say, a big party.
Ça, c'était une grosse affaire. Tout le monde était en liesse, tout le monde était en fête pour juste ça. Et tout le monde était sous gros gueux.
And that's where Dessalines is going to stand up and say, I take the universe as my witness, as I declare this land a land of free for all people throughout the world.
The colony of Saint-Domingue, which was the French colony, reclaimed the name Haiti back, which was the name the native gave to the island. And the other thing that happened, the legend of the soup and the legend of Marie-Claire Rose was born on that day.
A lot of things, they could not do a lot of things. According to what I heard, they could not, when they were slaves, they could not drink soup in Saint-Domingue because soup, it was something reserved for the white people, white masters, for the masters.
D'ailleurs, yo te kon fè li, mais yo pas de cabouel.
Mais avec l'indépendance, le père de la patrie qui est Dessalines, sa femme a décidé, en symbole de liberté, pour dire qu'il n'y a pas d'exclusion, qu'on a les mêmes droits que les autres. Il a décidé de rassembler tout le monde, il fait au point soupe joumou, et puis il fait soupe en signe de liberté. C'est comme un symbole de liberté pour dire que tout le bagage est fini.
It is true there's no written account of exactly what happened on that day, but this is a story that survived, and it is a story I hear from everybody in Gonaïves, that on the day of Declaration of Independence, Marie-Claire was asked everybody to come together to drink a soup that was forbidden for them to drink. Imagine they told you the soup was too good for you, the soup was too refined for you as a slave.
Transgression is a practice of oppressed people. So when God told Eve, don't touch that apple, she did. I mean, what's a soup, right? I can go and kill a deer and have this big barbecue as a slave. Master will not say anything. But the only thing I should not dare to do is to cook a soup. Then we have to understand why you can kill a deer as a slave and eat with all your family, but one thing you cannot do is to cook a soup. Because for the French, the soup is a practice only civilized people have to drink before dinner. And if you allow slaves to drink it, then you mean slaves are civilized. So therefore, after the revolution, the first thing the Haitian did was to break that taboo, is to drink the soup. So joumou is the most important culinary practice in the Haitian culinary tradition. Drinking it means, just like said, this is the blood of Christ. All right? Because that soup is the blood of freedom.
In many ways, everyone should be drinking soup joumou to celebrate the advancement of humanity, because that's That's really what they're celebrating, is the idea that slavery was defeated and that humanity really was the benefiting factor here in the achievement of the Haitian Revolution.
Maman me kon fè moi, m'a continuer faire yo même tout, y a gagné tradition la kayo pour yo continuer faire li pour petit pa yo.
Tradition to me is just something that is going on for generations. Something that you are constantly doing year after year, and that you actually pass it down from your child to your kids, to your kids, to your grandkids, or to just different family members, even if they are married into the family. Tradition is something that you hold dear to your heart, and that is something to grow, and you want it to grow as your family gets larger, even if after you have passed away. So I definitely would bring that into my family when I have one in the future, because I feel like they need to understand where I came from, where my parents came from, and where my grandparents came from. It's not just my family, but my friends who are Haitian, or my non-Haitian friends. Because when you do something, you want other people to appreciate it.
Nous étions des êtres à part entière qui voulaient vivre bien et que nous avons pile belle bagaille que nous avons offert.
Our history is so profound and so deep. So I just think our Haitian people, our historians, people who have those knowledge, don't die with this knowledge. Share them. I want to know more about, I want to know where I get the drive from. I get up and I want to work and I want to take over the world. I want to know where I get that drive from.
I feel saddened that this revolution is not more talked about, is not more taught. And it's often said that history told by the victors. So we have to be the ones to tell that story. And we have to be the ones to keep telling that story, because it is a story for all time. It's a story for all peoples. It's a David and Goliath story. And if that David and Goliath story can continue to be told, we can continue to tell our own story. And it's our duty to continue to tell that story.
The soup sharing tradition has gone abroad, because now we also have our people in New York, in Boston, in Lomé, in Africa, in Togo. We have people, different places, who have adopted the tradition and carry it through around the world.
I felt pride because we stood up for a lot, and as a culture, we've been through a lot. We've been through so much in so many decades. They forgot about joumou, or the fact that they don't take the step to actually teach their kids the reason why, or the type of food or the type of culture that the Haitians are. I understand why I eat it. I appreciate it more, and I'm very grateful.
It is interesting, my journey took me from Vegas to Miami to Port-au-Prince, then Gonaïves. That journey back home to learn about the soup joumou was much more about self-discovery. There's so much I did not know about myself. So much I did not know about my culture. So much I did not know about my history. And so much of yourself is defined by your history and your culture. The more you know about your history and your culture, the more you know about yourself, the more you know who you are, and the more you know where you want to be. You can live a more empowered and passionate life.
The tradition of the joumou soup is one of the world's most symbolic rituals of freedom, independence, and the human right of self-determination. As our journey is ending, we have discovered a soup whose enigma embodies the identity of a people, their history, their myth, their legend, their heroes, and their freedom, and was shaped by a revolution that was the beginning of a long journey for equality that defined equal rights, not just for the Black or the whites, but for the human race.
Samba yo relé, samba yo tombé, lan la ri lan prison, yo mouri lan ragé. Samba yo relé, relé, relé la